Hey guys! So today's video is a first for my channel. I have never really done an entire video dedicated to all products from a single brand before. It's something I've thought a lot about, but to be honest, I have a pretty diverse collection of makeup, so I like to use a bunch of different things for many different brands, high-end, drugstore. I don't really stay loyal to any one particular brand, but I just happened to notice that I had pretty much everything to do a full face of makeup from Tarte, and I thought it would be kind of cool to give you guys an overview of the brand, sort of my thoughts on it, my favorite products. Obviously, everything in this video is not everything I've ever tried or even that I own from Tarte, but I thought it would be a good way to kind of weigh my thoughts on the brand, especially because it is very popular and a lot of people talk a lot about their products. So yeah, I thought this would be a fun little thing to do for you guys. So this look that I created today is completely using Tarte Cosmetics, and I'm going to show you the products, how they apply, talk about what I like, what I don't like, things that I've used that I'm not so big a fan of and maybe don't have in my collection anymore, and just kind of give you a general rundown as to what the brand is about and if I think they're worth purchasing from. If you're new here to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out to chat about beauty with me. I'm really happy to have you here. My name is Lauren. I am kind of mildly obsessed with all things beauty, and I hope you will click that little subscribe button down around so that way you'll get notified when I post new content and get to see some of the other fun things we do in these parts. So why don't we start with the first product that I want to talk about today, and we'll be going through this in the order in which you would put everything on your face. So right now the only primer I have from Tarte is their BB Tinted Treatment Primer, and this is something I don't think a lot of people talk very much about, but I do actually really like this product. Sometimes I'll wear it all by itself if I'm having sort of like a no makeup day, or I want to just keep things a little bit lighter. This does have all mineral sunscreens. It's got SPF 30, so it is nice to give your skin that little extra boost of sun protection. It's got a very moussey, almost silicone-y texture to it, so it glides onto the skin very easily, and it does give your skin sort of a soft, matte finish. It's supposed to be pore minimizing and skin brightening, and it's supposed to last up to 12 hours. So I do feel like this wears decently. My skin is very oily, so sometimes it does start to break apart a little bit around my nose where I have the largest pores. But for the most part, I feel like this is pretty solid, and it does play pretty well underneath most of my foundations. I usually wear the shade Light, which by this point in the year can be a little bit light for me because I tend to get a tan, and it does have a bit more of a pink undertone, and I'm a more yellow undertoned person. But just something to keep in mind, there's not a huge shade range of these primers, obviously, because it's not meant to be like a full coverage product. So when it comes to Tarte foundations, the one I want to talk about today is brand new to their line, and it is their Clay Stick Foundation. This is something I just picked up very recently. It is now available in Ulta and Sephora stores, and I was kind of on the fence about whether or not I wanted to buy this for a while, having seen different swatches and seen different reviews about it. So basically, this is an extremely creamy, easy to blend stick foundation. It goes on very easily. And the only downside is that because it's almost got a very slippy texture to it, it is very easy to leave brush marks if you're applying it with a brush, and a sponge can kind of really pick up a lot of product. I actually find the best way to apply this is just to blend it in with my fingers and kind of just pat it into the skin, and it blends out really easily and really nicely. And to be honest, that's sort of the advantage to me of having a stick foundation. It's something you can just throw in a bag, travel with, and to be able to apply it with your fingers and have it just blend into the skin seamlessly makes your life really, really easy. It does leave your skin with a kind of velvety matte finish, and I will say what I have noticed is that while it is very creamy and easy to blend, it does seem to cling to dry patches very easily. So you want to make sure your skin is really well moisturized. Even if you're oily, if you have even the smallest amount of dry skin, this is going to make it very apparent. So that's one thing I don't like about this product. Pairing it with the Tarte BB Tinted Primer, I did notice it went on really nicely. but after several hours, I was starting to get shiny. So just as something to keep in mind. And the other only downside, this is a $39 foundation and you only get, let's see, 0.32 ounces. So most liquid foundations usually have an ounce of product. This only has 0.32 ounces. So for the amount of money that you are spending, you're not getting anywhere near as much product as a traditional foundation. But you don't seem to need to use a lot to get pretty decent coverage on your skin. So all in all, I definitely need to play with this more, but I have been enjoying it, and I do feel like thus far this has been the most agreeable stick foundation that I have personally used. Then of course it's everybody's favorite, the Tarte Shape Tape. This concealer is so ridiculously hyped in the beauty community, it's kind of almost like laughable at this point, but it really is very good. This is an extremely full coverage concealer, and it definitely goes on really creamy and really easily. It doesn't feel thick and heavy on the skin, but it literally covers up everything. Now, me having oily skin, having an oily eye area, I've never had problems with this looking cakey or clinging to any dry patches or anything like that. I don't have a problem with this concealer creasing. Usually if I set it with powder, like even if I don't set it, it usually stays pretty well and is very long wearing. But I have heard different people have had different experiences with this product if they have a different skin type. So as someone with oily skin, I've never had a problem with this. The applicator is gigantic. You can really just take like one swipe quick under each eye and have more than enough product to bring up on your eye. You can use this as a primer underneath your eyeshadow. You can use it to conceal blemishes. Really, it is pretty fantastic. So you can get this, I believe it is exclusive to Ulta or to the Tarte website. So this is not something you can get at Sephora, just as an FYI. But for the price, I think it's great. I feel like one tube does last you a while. You get a fair amount of product. According to this, it says 0.338 fluid ounces. So pretty much the same amount of product as that foundation stick, which is kind of interesting. So yes, definitely one of my standout favorite products from the line. Now, I didn't have a powder to test out from Tarte to show you guys, so I actually am skipping powdering my face today in this video. But if you have a recommendation or you really like one of Tarte's powder products, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear what your recommendations are. So we're gonna move right on to bronzer, and this is actually a sample size that I think I got in like an Ipsy bag, and this is the Park Avenue Princess Amazonian Clay Waterproof Bronzer, and this does have a small amount of shimmer in it, but it is a really nice warming bronzer for your complexion. I would not contour with this because of the shimmer and also because of the undertone, but if you would like to add like a really nice warm glow to your skin, this is a really great like traditional bronzer. I do feel like it lasts well. It says that it's waterproof. I don't know if I've really ever tested that claim, but usually I think about waterproof products as being just long wearing, resistant to coming off if you're sweating, especially in the summertime when it is very toasty out. So generally speaking, I like this. Obviously I haven't purchased it in full size. I still have this deluxe sample and it's lasted me quite a while because a little goes a long way. I don't know if I would necessarily buy the full size of this, only because I tend to prefer matte bronzers over glowy ones on a day-to-day basis, and I have a lot of matte bronzers in my collection that I love and use all the time. So if you're looking for this type of product, I think that it is great. It is not my personal favorite bronzer in like the whole wide world, but I think that it's decent for sure. Now, another sort of classic favorite from Tarte's line are their Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blushes. So many people rave about this particular line of products because they are super long wearing, they're beautifully pigmented, they're really easy to work with, and they're just some of like the best blushes on the market in this price range. I have the shade here Captivating, which is a really beautiful matte peach shade. The line does have both shimmery and matte finishes, so there's really a little bit of something for everybody. They have things that are really bright and bold if you have a deeper complexion, and some shades that are a little bit more soft and muted if you're very fair skinned. I love the shade Exposed for those of you who are like the pale princesses out there. If you have a very fair complexion, I would definitely recommend checking that one out because it is just the most gorgeous neutral sort of beigey pink, and it just adds like a really beautiful light wash of color. So nice. So this formula is definitely very long wearing and easy to work with, which I really like. I feel like the claims on it are quite true, but they are a little bit pricey. So I think this is the kind of thing that if you're looking for like one great blush you can wear every day, find the shade from the line and like pick that and you will be good to go. I happened to score mine during Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty sale, so that's also something to keep an eye out for. Those opportunities you have to get, you know, sort of big name brands on a budget can be really fantastic. It only happens once or twice a year, but usually they do have some great offering from Tarte, so I would definitely keep an eye on that the next time you see that sale come around. So moving on to one of my favorite products from today, and this is the Tarte Exposed Highlight. This is so stunning. This is not a highlight for the faint of heart by any means. This is like a blinding, very intense highlight. You can see, like, I feel like I'm beaming from outer space today with this on my cheekbones. It is one of the first products I ever got from Tarte that is scented. It has like a vanilla, almost like a malted milk ball kind of scent going on, like a little chocolatey. Oh, it's so delicious, and like as you're putting on your highlight, it makes you just want to like eat it. It's kind of ridiculous. So I personally enjoy scents that might not be up everybody's alley, but if you do, that's something, just a little added bonus for you there. But again, so this is a very creamy, metallic, intensely pigmented highlight. The exposed one is really great for, I think, light to medium complexions. Some of the other highlight shades in that line I think would be a little bit dark for a lot of people, but I am glad that they have a nice range of offerings. I think there are 3 different shades you can choose from, but the exposed one is definitely my favorite because it's got a really nice golden champagne undertone. I do feel like they're very long wearing, they are very buttery and easy to apply. It's just that it is extremely intense. So if you're someone who likes a really natural, soft highlight, it is not for you. Moving on to brows. This is another new one for me. I just picked up the Tarte Amazonian Clay Waterproof Brow Pencil. This is very similar to the Anastasia Brow Wiz. It's basically a microfine brow pencil with a spoolie on the opposite end. And there are only, I think, 3 shades in this particular line, which is kind of a downside compared to the Brow Wiz. But this shade here, which is rich brown, is perfect for me. I feel like this is just like not too warm. It's like a very nicely cool undertone dark brown, which I really appreciate. A lot of dark brown eye pencils are very warm undertoned, and it just kind of looks a little weird with my particular coloring. So I've been really liking this. It is supposed to be a waterproof formula infused with Amazonian clay, so really, really long wearing. I haven't tested this out a ton yet to give like a full picture, but in the times that I've worn this, I have found that my eyebrows look spot on and aren't faded or smearing everywhere by the end of the day. So very easy to use, very similar to the Brow Wiz in that respect. I feel like it's not so pigmented that your eyebrows look crazy, but it's not hard. It doesn't like, feel like you're scratching your face as you're applying it. It's just very easy to use, and I really like this a lot. So this next product I hemmed and hawed about for probably a good 6 months. When I saw this launch, I think it came out in the fall of 2016. I was completely head over heels, like, in love with it. But then I said to myself, Lori, you have so much eyeshadow, you do not need this palette. You just get over yourself. And I was thinking about treating myself to it at the holidays, but I said no, no, no. And I finally caved maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, and I just have been absolutely in love with it. I'm so glad that I finally bit the bullet and picked it up, because it really is an excellent eyeshadow palette. And I don't know why so many people have hated on it as much as they have, because I've had absolutely no problems with these shadows at all. And since I didn't say what it was, this is the Tarte Tarteist Pro eyeshadow palette, or I don't know, it's their Amazonian Clay eyeshadow palette. Pretty much all of these products are like from their Amazonian Clay line. So you get 16 matte shadows and then 4 duochromatic shades in here. And truthfully, they're just all so buttery, so easy to work with. The pigmentation is spot on. It's never been hard for me to blend anything out. And this is infused that same vanilla fragrance. It smells super yummy. Every time you open the palette, it's just so enjoyable for me to have that experience. And I love the shade selection in here, because you do get some nice fun pops of color but they are sort of like a muted pop of color, so it's not like you're putting something crazy and neon and bright. In today's look, I use the shade Innocent in my crease, and then I kind of deepen things up with the shade Whimsy here. Then I use the shade Maud right in the outer corner to add a little bit of like some fun color. I use the shade Classic on the brow bone to highlight, and then I went all over the lid with the shade Glam here because this added a nice little sparkle. So truthfully, like you can, go more purple route, you can do something more warm toned, a little bit more cool. It's just got a lot of options for you. I think it's really stunning, and I am really glad that I picked this up because I feel like this is one of those, if you just needed one eyeshadow palette, you could just have this and be good to go. It is a solid investment. It's I think around $60, so it is a lot of money. The packaging though is beautiful. It's very nice and weighty, and you get an amazing mirror in here. So in terms of bang for your buck, I definitely do feel like this was worth it. If you're someone that really enjoys applying eyeshadow and creating interesting looks and things you can wear for day or night, I think this really will cover all of your bases. Now this is another product that I feel like nobody talks about and is so good. I don't understand why more people aren't like, go buy this. This is the Tarteist Double Take Eyeliner. So this has a liquid eyeliner on one side and a twist up pencil on the other. And the liquid eyeliner side with the felt tip is so good. It is so easy to create a beautiful sharp wing. It has lasted a really long time for me, and the pencil side, the automatic twist up pencil, is super creamy. It's really great for lining your tight line, your waterline. I don't feel like it smudges and bleeds everywhere. It's just really excellent, and it's I think $24, and you're basically getting 2 liners for the price of one. Because how often does anyone go through an entire eyeliner before it dries up? And I really do feel like you're getting quite a bit of product in this. So I would hands down buy this. It's just easy to travel with. You have everything you need. You don't have to remember 2 eyeliners, and it's good. So I would highly recommend this if you've never checked it out. Totally worth splurging on. On a similar vein, I also really enjoy the Tarteist mascara. I love the packaging. The first time I saw this, I was like, part of me just wanted to try it just for the packaging alone. This has a really interesting wand. It is quite spiky and it is plasticky, so it doesn't have that natural bristle brush kind of thing going on. But it does do a decent job, therefore, of like really separating out your lashes and making sure that they're all coated evenly. It doesn't get too clumpy. It is a very moussey textured mascara, so I do feel like it builds a decent amount of volume. I just generally like it a lot. Now, I have said before and will say again that I don't necessarily think that if you are looking to budget how you want to spend money on makeup, high-end mascaras are not worth it. Like I would tell someone time and time again, go buy a drugstore mascara over a high-end one just purely for the fact that they don't last that long. Like you're supposed to throw your mascara out every 3 to 6 months. So if you're going to, you might as well, I would much rather put that $20 towards an eyeliner that's going to last me a little bit longer than towards a mascara. That's just me personally. But as far as the actual product goes, I think this is awesome. So I would never say like, I don't think it's a bad product. I just feel like it may not necessarily be worth it to you unless you want to treat yourself to spend the extra money on the mascara when you can get something that's also really decent from the drugstore for less than half the price. And the last product that I wanted to talk about today is the Tarte Tarteist Lip Paint. Now this is basically Tarte's take on a liquid lipstick. So it is quite long wearing, but it is a bit drying on the lips. I would not say this is my absolute favorite liquid lipstick formula, but it is decent. It is definitely very transfer resistant. Once you apply it and it dries down, it usually is pretty budge proof. If you're eating and drinking, I have found it comes off fairly easily, especially if you're eating oily foods. But just if you're kind of like going about your normal day, talking, drinking water, usually it will hold up pretty well. The shade selection is fun. They have some really funky brights and some weird colors and a lot of really nice nudes. This one is in the shade Bestie, and I believe this is the holiday packaging on here, so that's why it looks a little bit different than they normally would. But I think that they're okay. I think that they're good. I definitely try to use this since I have it, but it is not, as far as comfort goes, my absolute favorite formula out there. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and this will give you some ideas if you're curious about the brand, about what you may want to pick up and try out. I definitely do obviously enjoy their products. There are not very many brands that I own this much from, but I've found that Tarte is generally pretty consistent with the majority of their permanent products and putting out some pretty great stuff. If you'd enjoy this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. I always really appreciate your support. And if there are any other brands that you would like to see me do a full review on, let me know in the comments down below what you would like to see. I don't necessarily have a ton from any particular brand, so I can see what I can do, but I'd be really curious to know what brands you would like to hear more about. So again, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.